Saturday Coffee Klatch.
And it is the Saturday Coffee Klatch with Heather Lofthouse and yours truly, Robert Reich. Heather, it is good to see you again.
And you.
You've had an okay week?
Yeah. Have you?
Well, meh. I mean, it's the same thing. It's just I'm trying to keep, the sociopath in the White House out of my dreams.
I know.
And it's hard. It really is hard.
I saw you said that in a Substack, and I didn't know if you meant it literally.
I'm talking about at night when your subconscious, starts gearing up.
Yeah.
And, all of these horrible things, Trump is in there and I can't. I found myself the other night, I was yelling. I woke myself up yelling.
No, Bob.
Seriously.
Also, but malignant narcissists do that. They get grappling hooks inside your psyche and your...
Well, I'm not going to let him.
No,
I hope
don't.
you're okay. Are you
Reject
okay,
that.
though? Seriously.
I'm okay.
I just want to
I
check in
feel
with
like
you.
I'm 11% better than I was last week when we were coffeeing. I have no reason for that.
No.
And I'm not, amazing, but I feel a little fortified today. It'll change in the morning when I wake up tomorrow. Yeah, good.
Well, it's a nice morning where I am. Heather, what are we going to talk? What would you like to talk about today?
That's not the question. What are we going to talk about today?
What are we going
What I'd like to talk about, I'd
about?
like to reminisce about, I don't know, when you were first my teacher and some of our favorite movies. And
You got an A-.
Oh, here we
in
go
the
again.
course.
Okay, I should have never
and
brought
you
that up.
did very well, but I've graded on a curve. There are almost no A's.
I hate when you say this every time you say this to me. And I got my transcript, and it's confirmed, by the way, everybody. Okay,
Yeah.
So things we're going to talk about, and I'm sorry in advance, but also thank you in advance, Jeffrey Epstein,
Mm-hmm.
ICE and what's happening and the revolt against it. Also, Trump's paranoia around the elections and the midterms and what he's doing around that. I also think we should do a sports segment. And
Great.
Yeah,
Great.
where we will talk
Super
about
Bowl.
Super Bowl and the Olympics. But I do think you and I try to figure out what's a theme, what's an overarching concept around all of this. And
what's the Olympics and the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
And sports. No, I think the overall concept, well, let's get into it and then we'll figure out what the overall arching concept is.
Okay.
Because I think that what's interesting to me is that no matter what the Justice Department does, and it has not, let's be clear, it has 6 million pages, it is announced, of Jeffrey Epstein files, 6 million files rather, and it's only released about 3 million.
Mm-hmm.
It's sitting on 3 million files. It still has not done what Congress ordered it to do. We
also
know
a lot of redactions.
A lot of redactions. Trump's name appears in 5,300 files. 5,300
that we know of.
That we know of. And this is not counting the 3 million files that are still being held by the Justice Department.
And you saw this week, America needs to just get over this. We just need to move on from this. You saw him say that?
Yeah. That's what he said to Caitlin.
We're done.
Caitlin Collins. He's such a dreadful, loathsome character. Heather, I don't have to tell you, but maybe that's why I'm having these horrible dreams. What he said to Caitlin Collins, when all she was doing was asking him about the Epstein survivors. Did you see that?
Yeah. She looked at him and said, Mr. President, I'd like to ask you about justice. And he waxed on, and then she pushed him, and she said it again, and she was rather direct, and she looked at him. And
do we have that tape? Can we play that?
Yeah, maybe we can play the tape. You didn't want me to just reenact it?
You could, but that would mean I'd have to play Trump. I don't want to do that.
Okay.
But I think it's time now for the country to maybe get onto something else.
What would you say to people
like
who feel like they haven't gotten
healthcare,
justice, Mr. President?
something that people care about? Yeah, what did you say? Go ahead.
What would you say to the survivors who feel like they haven't gotten
You are the
justice?
worst reporter. No wonder CNN has no ratings because of people like you. You know, she's a young woman. I don't think I've ever seen you smile. I've known you for 10 years. I don't think I've ever seen a smile on your face.
You about survivors.
You know why? You know why you're not smiling? Because you know you're not telling the truth, and you're a very dishonest organization, and they should be ashamed of you. Okay, go ahead.
Right. So
Anyway.
there we have it.
Yuck. Yuck.
But it's this idea that I mean, it's so gendered, this idea that it's like, you're disgusting for not smiling. What I need you to be is compliant, ladies, and let's not have autonomy over your feelings. If you could just do what makes me feel, makes me feel better and just play the role I need you to play. And she's like, I'm a journalist.
This loathsome, sociopath in the Oval Office is not just genderist, not just sexist, but look at he puts up a video of the Obamas as apes. I mean, he took it down, but I mean, what kind of it's not even a president of the United States. What kind of a person would do this?
Well,
Feeding
a racist
bigotry.
person who's president.
Yeah.
But also I think he ended up taking that down, by the way, yesterday.
Yes, he took it down, but
not before we saw it, I know.
But it just it makes headlines. It legitimizes all of the bigotry that has been under the surface in America from the beginning, from before the beginning. But you have a president who is actually celebrating and legitimizing and inviting bigotry like this
and white
and
supremacy.
Sexism.
Yep.
Yeah.
I know it. So she wanted justice for the victims. He's over the Epstein files. I think a lot of it was the timing was there was, horrificness and murders happening in Minnesota, then an Epstein file dump. Now he wants to not be talking about Epstein. It feels like such a power play on the control of the narrative.
Well, he can't. This is interesting to me that the Epstein files, the Epstein ghost will not go away. It won't go away because this is what MAGA is potentially most worried about in terms of Trump.
Right.
I mean, there are a lot of other things MAGA doesn't want. Remember, he was elected, number one, to bring prices down, number two, to avoid foreign interference, number three, on immigration, to get control over immigration. On all three, all of the polls are suggesting that the public is really angry, including a lot of MAGAs.
Oh, yeah. They're livid, as they should be. I mean, all this data, you and I made a video, and our team at Inequality Media, about how immigration is good for society and good for the economy. And it was just an explainer that had a bunch of facts in it. And we continue to get so much data about how much immigrants add to the economy.
This is a nation.
Wise.
This is a nation of immigrants. I mean, the only people who have standing to complain about immigration are Native Americans.
Right.
I mean, my great-grandparents came to the United States. Your great-great-great-great-great-great, where did your great-great-great-great-great-grandparents come from?
England, Scotland, that way.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
Yeah.
I mean, mine came from...
You say it with a tone.
No, mine came from Russia, from Ukraine, from beyond the pale, and they fled for their lives. I mean, they would have been killed if they hadn't been admitted to the United States in the 1880s. I mean, this is a nation that has depended on immigrants.
Right, and also you saw there were some statistics that I saw this week and some data about CPB. Border Patrol officers and ICE officers, and the fact that there are more per capita crimes by those individuals who work for those agencies than there are from illegal immigrants. I mean, the crimes are, let's be real, it's small numbers, and it's a small number that they are above illegal immigrants, but it's still the case. I mean, these are lies that Trump continues to tell, and that people continue to let him get away with.
Well, I don't know that anybody's letting him get away with it. I mean, we, for example, and a lot of other Democrats are continuing to try to correct him on new immigrants to this country, whether they are here undocumented or they are documented. The data show that their rates of crime are lower than people who were born in the United States.
Right.
I mean, that is a fact. That is a fact.
Yeah.
And they contribute, they pay taxes. They're not, if they're undocumented, they're not eligible to get back any of the benefits from Social Security or Medicare or unemployment insurance, but they pay taxes to support all of these programs. and they're in jobs that most Americans don't want.
I know it. So what is the larger theme here? What is it? It's just Trump on a rampage? It's just Trump. I mean, you say that we're not letting him get away with it, but he's getting away with it for now.
Well,
in many regards.
Not. Let me just make sure that the polls are showing that even among Republicans, there is a major shift against Trump on immigration. They think he's going too far. I mean, you know, the poll that just came out, it was a Quinnipiac poll. 63% of Americans disapprove of ICE. 63%. Heather. And a lot of, I mean, the Republicans are slightly majority of Republicans think that he's going too far on his anti-immigrant harangue.
Right.
And what they're doing and what people are, you know, you have 2 murders in Minneapolis. I mean, people are appalled. Americans are appalled. Even if they're MAGA Americans, they are appalled at what is going on. They supported Trump on this issue, but they no longer do.
Right. Well, so Dan and I, from who we work with, we're looking at this article from the New York Times, and there are 2 political scientists who are talking about neo-royalism and the fact that Trump is bringing back the Habsburgs. He's bringing back the Tudors. I mean, it feels like he is running this monarchy and people are coming, cups in hand, hats in hand. I mean, this is how the world used to be run. It wasn't about diplomacy. It was about taking over, and it was about power, power.
And wealth and power.
And wealth. And there were a lot of Epsteins in those courts back then.
There were Epsteins galore, unfortunately. There were people who abused women, abused young people, abused children, abused...
and were in it for themselves, and then would kiss up to the king.
Completely. And the king was constantly delivering favors to the people who were supporting him and constantly imposing penalties, including death, on the people who were against him, constantly trying to expand territories, Greenland, Canada, well, the Habsburgs didn't know about Greenland, but this is, yes, exactly. We're back to the 16th, 15th century. We're back to the late Middle Ages.
Yep.
And anybody who's, you know, Heather, I have been using the analogy for years now of the fascists, Mussolini and Hitler and Franco and even Stalin. I think that these people who are seeing Trump as a neo-royalist are onto something.
Yep.
I think he's much, much more analogous to these extraordinary sicko narcissists, the kings, Henry VIII. Mm-hmm. By the way, do you know what happened to Charles II, Richard III? What was it, Louis XIV?
They died.
Louis XV? Some of them died, yes. They all died, yeah.
I didn't know. I mean, I thought so. I'm glad you asked so I could figure it out.
You know, when I went to my interview to see if they would admit me to Oxford as a Rhodes Scholar, the interviewers said, Mr. Reich, you were a history major, is that right? And I said, well, sort of. What did you think of the death of Richard III? And I said, I was appalled.
No, you didn't.
I did. I did.
And they said, good on you?
And they said, oh, jolly good.
Welcome, you're in.
Yeah.
That's very funny, Bob. Oh,
no, it is. Trump is a neo-royalist. Look at all the gold and all the. I mean, he loves the pomp and the circumstance, and he's putting his name everywhere.
But that's also the malignant narcissism, right?
Yeah.
It's a similar trait where you need opulence and constant affirmation, and you're envious of anyone who has something that glistens more than what you have. I mean, these are literally the traits of a malignant narcissist. And
you're just deeply, deeply insecure.
I know.
I mean, so insecure that your skin is so thin. And, you look back on the 16th and 15th century kings, and interestingly, many of them were extraordinarily thin-skinned. I mean, they were worried constantly that their power or their money or their wealth was going to be taken away.
You don't think there was a lot of emotional connection with their parents and that they really pulled out their feelings and supported them to feel
Yes.
independent, but also
Yeah, Louis
No,
XV loved Louis XIV. I mean, just it was
Father of the Year. Father
Yeah.
of the Year. Okay, so unchecked power. I mean, this is really what it feels like we're looking at right now. I mean,
This
you
is- this-
say
Hmm.
that we are checking it. We're starting to check the power, or people are mad. So it's not just the approval ratings around ICE and immigration. It's the approval ratings generally, and it's the approval ratings around the economy.
But it's
right?
also, I mean, but ICE itself, I mean, the two killings in Minneapolis and everything that continues. It's, by the way, Homan is there. The border czar has been replaced. He replaced Bogino. But Homan and Minneapolis and the agents there are doing, from what I can hear, from what I can tell, from all of the habeas corpus petitions, they're doing just as badly as they were doing before. They're abusing people the way they were abusing people before. And the country, what interests me, Heather, is the country is reacting. Did you see was it last Sunday, a Bad Bunny? Remember
The Grammys.
At the Grammys?
Yeah.
The 2026 Grammys?
Oh, yeah.
I mean-
and he's going to perform along with Green Day, I think, by the way. MAGA's not a big fan, I don't think, of Bad Bunny. I know they're not, or of Green Day. But yeah, so Bad Bunny, we could show a clip. He accepts his Grammy and he says,
ICE out!
Yep. Let's watch it.
Eyes out. We're not savage, we're not animals, we're not aliens, we are humans, and we are Americans. Also, I want to say to the people, I know it's tough to not to hate on these days. And I was thinking, sometime we get contaminados. I don't know how to say that in English. The hate get more powerful with more hate. The only thing that is more powerful than hate is love. So, please, we need to be different. If we fight, we have to do it with love. We don't hate them. We love our people, we love our family, and that's the way to do it, with love. Don't forget that, please. Thank you. Thank you, God.
Yeah, that was powerful. I mean, he is saying, and he's Puerto Rican, he's saying, we're humans over here. Hello.
And he's going to be at the NFL. He's going to be at the Super Bowl, right? He's going to be
Halftime show. Yeah, he doesn't play in the
show.
game. He plays at the
Right.
game as a musician.
Right. But you also have the
giving you a hard
WWE wrestling.
Oh,
You know-
yeah,
you
I
know?
saw that too. So there's this huge arena, and people are yelling, F ICE, F ICE, as the two macho guys get in the ring, and they're like, shaken off and buffed.
But this is a big, Heather, I think this is a big cultural shift. I mean, when Trump decided to go after immigrants, he decided this was going to be a tremendous centerpiece of his 2016 campaign. He talked about building the wall. He kind of exploited the bigotry and fears of Americans with regard to people who came from outside the United States. And now we're seeing, even in popular culture, even in the WWE, in the Super Bowl, in Bad Bunny, we're seeing a popular reaction. A lot of these, WWE is not your average professor in Cambridge, Massachusetts. I mean, this is MAGA America, right? This is people saying F-U-C-K ICE.
Yeah,
this is
ICE.
this is a big reaction. This is a huge.
It's big. I think a lot of
Huge.
the Super Bowl ads are still going to sway in the machismo direction. I mean, it's interesting because I feel like if you look at the ads over time and kind of what was focused on, what kind of characters were depicted. So we'll have to see some of that. But I think, and that's a note about where corporations are, right? Because I feel like the corporations need their power. It's corporatocracy here. But they are they kind of go towards where the crowd is, and then they get chased back by MAGA and where the money is in the Trump administration. And then so it's interesting to see the tides of the corporate advertising.
The corporate ad world. Well, I think ultimately they're going to go where the public is.
Ultimately.
And I mean, that's where the money is.
Right.
I mean, the public and the money.
And so Trump is scared, right? I mean, he doesn't exhibit fear in that specific way when he journals at night. But he knows. He sees the polls and then he denies them and then he craps on all the people that have talked about them. But when he is talking about nationalizing elections, when we see what happened in Texas this past week.
Absolutely.
I mean, let's talk about that a little bit.
Well, you've got that Democrat, Taylor Remmitt, I think that's how he's pronounced. This is in the Texas State Senate election. And historically, this is a very red part of Texas, a very red county, Tarrant County, Texas. And he, despite the fact that his opponent overspent him by something in the order. Now, remember, this is a state Senate race. His opponent overspent him by $2 million, an unheard of amount in a state Senate race. And this is a district that Trump won by 17%, Heather.
17 points,
And Remmitt, the Democrat, won it by 14%. I mean, look at that swing. That's a 30-point swing right there.
Yeah.
And if that's not going to cause, it's already causing reverberations all around Texas and all around the country because people are beginning to see, the Republicans are beginning to see, this is huge. This is a groundswell against Republicans, against ICE, against Trump, against a lot of the stuff that's going on right now.
Yeah. Did you see, it was on the tarmac in front of Trump, whatever he calls his plane. And he was out there and someone said, what do you think about what just happened in Texas? And he does the thing of, well, I don't really know. What happened? No one's told me what? Oh, that? I won that? I won that? Oh, yeah, I don't know. He's very deflective of it. But
he doesn't want to admit it.
Yeah. And we just saw that Elon Musk is putting $10 million into the Senate race, federal, not state, of in Kentucky.
Yep.
Because Mitch McConnell's stepping down. That's a lot of money. And he said he was going to do less in politics. But this is
look at
the most
Elon Musk is exhibit number A in terms of why we don't want billions of dollars accumulating at the very top of our country, turning into, making our politics a slush fund for billionaires, a playground for billionaires. I mean, we know this. But you also have, what I'm interested in is, Elon Musk puts the money into Kentucky, but you have the reverberations. I want to just go back to, Taylor Remmitt's success in Texas, because you've got, remember, a Texas Senate race, a national Texas Senate race. John Cornyn is running against Ken Paxton. Ken Paxton is the right-wing Trumper. John Cornyn is hoping desperately for a Trump endorsement, but it's not clear that the Trump endorsement is going to come, or even that it's going to do that much good. And then you've got in the Democratic primary, look at these primaries. The primaries now are obviously very important. In the Democratic primary in Texas, you've got James Tallarico versus Jasmine Crockett.
Yes,
Jasmine,
we haven't
talk
talked
about
this.
Talk about a fiery fighting Democrat, and that's also fascinating because Texas is maybe a little bit purple. A little bit purple.
A little bit purple.
A little bit purple. One more thing, and I'm sorry to be so excited about this Taylor Remmitt in but we see this pattern in these special elections. Taylor Remmitt he didn't talk about being a Democrat. He talked about being somebody who was concerned about the cost of living, about affordability. He was concerned about average working people, getting by. I mean, he's a kind of an economic populist. And if there is any lesson, Heather, for Democrats in what's happened in New Jersey, in Virginia, in Texas, across this country, is Democrats can win on an economic populist message.
That's it.
This is it. This is
Yep.
where the action is.
Yeah, I just saw some new polls about that in terms like corporate power. People are mad about it. And we see, I think part of what needs to be done, we do this, is pull out all these examples. So ICE, here we have ICE, which is a jobs program in some senses, right, for the MAGA base. They all these deportations, all of this upsurge of this, militaristic storm we're living in, $22 billion has been made off of private companies around all of these deportations and all that we're seeing. And those are Trump's buddies.
Of course they're Trump's buddies. What kind of companies? I think I know the answer to this, but what kind of companies are making so much money off of the deportation business?
Regional dynastic family businesses and major GOP donors. So we're talking venture capital funded firms and publicly traded firms.
So and also I imagine the private prison industry.
Yep, which is
doing well.
Yeah. So much money. You've talked about this. I mean, Trump's whole thing, one of his whole things was connecting the oligarchy with the working class, right? Come on, guys, we're all on the same side.
Yes, let's fight to the extent that there is a genius. I mean, he's not a genius. He's just intuitive, narcissist, pathological narcissist. But what he intuits and what he intuited in 2016 and continues is that you could create this coalition between the greedy plutocrats, the billionaires who want lower taxes and no regulations for their businesses, and on the other hand, the worst aspects of the American working class that is resentful and perhaps white nationalist men, and you put those all together, you create that kind of coalition, and Trump thinks, well, terrific, greed and bigotry. I can put it all together and create a coalition that's going to stand and be with me.
And who wins? Who wins in that scenario, please?
Well, Trump thinks he wins, and he thinks the Republicans win, and
the oligarchy.
And so far, yes, the oligarchs win and the bigots win. And it's a pretty awful picture of what has happened to America. But again, you just have to look at the forces that are being arrayed and activated against all this. Look at the DHS, the Department of Homeland Security funding bill. It has to be voted on before February 13th?
Mm-hmm.
And the Democrats are standing firm. I mean, I didn't think I'd ever say that phrase. Have you ever heard me say that? The Democrats are standing firm. They are actually standing firm with the two independents who caucus with the Democrats in the Senate, Bernie Sanders and Angus King. They're standing firm. They're demanding masks. If you're going to fund Department of Homeland Security, ICE and Border Patrol agents cannot wear masks. They have to identify themselves. They have to have warrants before they enter people's homes or cars or arrests people. They can't use force against people just randomly, and there have to be all of these constraints on them, and the Republicans are horrified. But it puts Republicans in an impossible position. How can you be horrified, in light of what's happened in Minnesota? How can you be horrified at putting some constraints on ICE?
I know. It's undeniable.
Well,
so
it's going to happen pretty soon.
You saw the prayer breakfast this week, the National Prayer Breakfast, and he's talking about elections being stolen, and I was really great, and I was great again, and then I won, and I super won, and blah, 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 blah. He's getting fixated. There's this paranoia, there's this planning around the midterms and otherwise.
Yes, he said, well, before the prayer breakfast, he said, quote, "We should take over voting. The Republicans ought to nationalize the voting process." I mean, this is the president of the United States. We should. Who's the we? When he says we should take over voting, he's not talking about the American people.
Also, this is the neo-royalism and the unchecked power again.
Yes,
No. We are a democracy. This is a republic. We decided to build this country such that if we don't like the person in power, a whole bunch of us can get together and vote that person out, or vote some checks and balances around that narcissist.
Yes, Mr. Narcissistic, sociopathic.
Right. And so this is not
king.
how it's done here. This is not what we do.
No, and we have a constitution. And Article 1, Section 4, if I had my constitution with me, as I usually try to keep it with me,
Do I have a
Article
copy?
1, Section 4, it says that the states are in charge of voting. The states, not the federal government, the states are in charge of voting. And so Trump can't do that. I mean, even the Supreme Court, with his lackeys on the Supreme Court, will not allow him to take over voting. He's going to try, though, Heather. I mean, already since May, the Department of Justice has demanded voter rolls from at least 44 states. And the FBI is demanding from governors that they see the voting rolls. And most states have refused so far, but the Department of Justice is suing more than 20 states. It wants those voting rolls. Well, it can't have them. Shouldn't have them.
It shouldn't have them. Okay, so
Steve Bannon, can I just say something?
I guess.
I mean, really, Steve Bannon, who apparently, I don't want to just accuse him of anything, but he really appears a lot in those Epstein tapes. But Steve Bannon says
files.
ICE and the Border Patrol will be deployed around polling places on Election Day.
I saw that. Nope.
Can you imagine? This is a former presidential advisor who apparently speaks to Trump very often, or at least gives the impression of speaking to Trump very often.
Yeah.
That ICE and Border Patrol will be deployed around polling places on Election Day? Give me a break. Give me a break.
That's called intimidation. That's called illegal.
It's
That's
illegal.
It's also,
illegal.
I mean, our voting system works.
It works.
There's not fraud and abuse.
Well, that's the
in large
point.
numbers.
There's no every time Trump says he actually won the 2020 election, there is no evidence. Every inquiry has found that there is not abuse of our system, that people who are not supposed to vote don't vote.
I know, and there were all the lawsuits and everyone paid out, and it was fine. Okay, decided. It wasn't stolen. There was no such thing. It wasn't rigged, but we're back to it.
This is another Trump lie. And, one of the reasons that the Republican Party is so morally bankrupt is that it is now fundamentally based on a lie. I mean, can you imagine an entire political party based on pledging their fealty to a lie? That's what we have now.
I know.
I'm sorry, am I getting angry?
You're getting angry, but maybe you're getting it out now, so then you're going to have beautiful dreams later. Well, you'll just be flying over crystal cities, and
I hope so.
You won't be in there. But we have the midterms coming up. I'm excited. I'm excited. We are going to watch me vote, is what I'm saying.
I hope everybody gets out and votes and gets, condemns these Republican lackeys of Trump to the ash bin of history.
Yeah, it's true. Woo! We're fired up this week.
Yeah, I'm fired up.
It's pretty good.
That's what I feel. That's what I feel.
Well, I want to hear. I think we all are here to hear your feelings. I mean, some of them. If they get too much,
I'm not the only one, Heather. I was walking on the street the other day, and some lovely lady came up to me. I had never seen her before.
Was she smiling?
She said, no, she was not smiling. She said, "Are you Robert Reich?" I said, "Yes." And she burst into tears.
Mm.
And I didn't know what to do. I didn't know why. But a lot of people are, weeping.
I know. I go to a little grocery store near me, and there's a man named Jeff who manages it. And he said, "I watch you all every week." And then he said, he tried to hold his tears back. And he said,
Well,
"Thank you. And it's such a scary time."
do you remember the novel about South Africa called Cry, my beloved
Yes.
country?
Mm-hmm.
Cry, my beloved country. I mean, it's a lot of people feel that, this is their beloved country. America is their beloved country. It's my beloved country. It's our beloved country. And it's been crapped on, by Musk and Elon Musk, and by Trump, and by all of the lackeys and sycophants and billionaires.
Yeah. Here we are. Was this one of our more positive coffee classes?
Well, what can we do? Well, we have to conclude pretty soon, but let's think of something positive we can conclude on.
Okay. What's your plan for the rest of the weekend?
Well, the good question. I'm going to.
Can you
I'm going to
relax?
look at. I'm going to see an old movie, not that old, actually, pretty recent movie called The Roses, with Benedict
yes.
Cumberbatch
Mm-hmm.
and Olivia Colman. Do you remember? It
Yeah.
was not
I like
actually. It was
both of
pretty
them.
recently. I heard very good things about it. I heard it was very funny. I want comedy.
Yes. You wrote about that in your Substack too. That
Yeah.
when you
yeah.
in your FAQs, I like that post.
Yeah, Heather, you're reading my Substack. I am so just flattered.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
how's your movie doing, by the way? Speaking of,
My movie, it's still playing. The last class about Professor Reich's final semester of teaching, it's still going. It's very exciting. Soon we're going to be offering it on video on demand.
what does that mean exactly?
That means you can watch it on your laptop, maybe your TV, and you can rent it or you can buy it soon, anywhere in the world. So for a while,
Fabulous.
what happens is you prioritize in-person theaters for multiple reasons. One, it's we want to get people together. Two, it's we love independent movie theaters. Three, we find it galvanizing and an important experience to get a whole bunch of people in the same place, including teachers. And so, yeah. But
Fabulous.
I'm not going to
It's
go
a-
watch that this weekend because I've seen it a lot of times.
Well, I'm not either. But what are you going to do? Who are you rooting for in the Super Bowl?
Oh, I don't care about those two teams. None of them are my teams. Do you heard
Wait a
Trump?
minute, wait a
Trump
minute.
isn't going to go because it's too far away. Of course, it's happening in the Bay Area. So
Well, he doesn't
And he
want to go to
doesn't
the
wanna
Bay
get-
Area. He doesn't have a visa to get into
yeah,
California.
and he doesn't want to be booed.
No.
Yeah,
he would
exactly.
be booed. But it's the New England Patriots,
Mm-hmm.
right? Playing the
Yeah.
Seattle Seahawks. And I am a New England Patriots. I remember the days.
Wait,
when-
what were you saying there? Be careful.
Well, I was a New England Patriots fan. I mean,
You can be. I was just
I lived in
curious.
New England for most of my life.
You ran
but
for governor of Massachusetts.
I did, and I didn't win. But I remember when the New England Patriots lost every single football game you could imagine.
Oh.
We're at the very bottom of the league, and then Tom Brady. Do you remember Tom Brady?
Of
Tom
course.
Brady comes in and he just rebuilds the whole thing. I mean, if he can rebuild the New England Patriots, then we can rebuild America.
This
How's
is
that?
where I thought you were going. Yeah.
How about that for a positive end note?
Depending on who your team is.
Well, Heather,
Positive for some.
we have run out of time, but I want to thank you again for your good humor and your wisdom and your tenacity and your insight and all of your great work at Inequality Media Civic Action. You're a trooper,
Thank you, Bob.
Heather Lofthouse.
Well, you help inspire. I don't mind working with you on all of this stuff.
Well, I
We've
want
got
to
to do
also want to thank Michael Lahanas Calderon, and are just a great staff of people, of young people. I mean, the person who is behind the camera and
John.
who gets no credit,
Yeah.
who's never appeared, and that is Jordan Alport. And Jordan, if you can hear me, a salute to you. Really. You've got, even though you've had some health issues, you are just great, and we appreciate you.
Hear, hear.
And everybody out there, let me just say, and I know that I have talked with you in the past about the pressure and the sadness and the despair that we all feel. And I have to say, as somebody who is months away from my 80th birthday, I never expected we would be in the position we are in today in terms of this sociopath in the Oval Office. But I want to reassure you about one basic thing, and that is the resilience of this country. And I was thinking about this morning, Heather. I was thinking about the people of Minneapolis, what we owe them in terms of a debt of thanks for their discipline and their generosity and their ability to endure a police state, but also to do it in such a way that they are uplifting themselves and their entire community. They're an example, and continue to be, even now, an example for the rest of us, how to live at this dark time.
Hear, hear.
So here. Cheers to everybody in the Twin Cities area, Minneapolis, St. Paul. Cheers to all of you who continue to keep the faith. Cheers to you, Heather, all our wonderful colleagues. We will see you next Saturday.